Hi and welcome to Spark L&D podcast. I'm Inna Olimskaya and this series is for L&D professionals who want to grow their impact and for business leaders how L&D can drive performance. Each episode shares practical tools and insight that will help you to spark L&D with confidence. In today's episode, we will talk about starting your career in learning and development. Having the first role in this area might be exciting, but also challenging. The expectations are not very clear from the beginning. And also very soon, young professionals realize that the role is much bigger than designing workshops or facilitating training programs. In today's conversation, we will try to explore how the first year in L&D looks like, what types of challenges you can face, and what can help you to succeed early in the career. Today, I am joined by someone whose L&D journey I had the chance to witness from the very beginning. 6 years ago, Lizana joined my team as an intern, and today she is working in learning and development at KLM. Today we will try to understand how the first year in L&D feels, what types of surprises, challenges and lessons you can learn by being in the role. And also she will share with us her perspective on transition from learning about L&D to actually doing the job. Let's find out. Yeah. Hi and welcome, Lizana. Super happy to see you here today in this small and cozy studio.
Thank you, Ina. I'm delighted to be here. And yeah, it's a long time ago already that I did an internship with you, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And we always stayed in contact. So this is a full circle for me.
Tell us a bit about what are you doing right now? Maybe about the department, because L&D is such a broad topic, and sometimes I meet with colleagues and professionals also working in learning and development, but then we realize that we do absolutely different things. So what about you?
Yeah, L&D is quite broad. So I'm an educational scientist within an airline company, and I'm in the learning and development department, and we are with 50 people. And my team specializes in making trainings that can't be bought in, because you also can buy in trainings, right? So we develop e-learnings, train the trainers, normal trainings, anything you can imagine. Within the airline company, you can think of doing this in divisions as engineering and maintenance, cargo, but also corporate. So it's quite broad. And we don't train, so we have combi trainers in the divisions,
okay, I see.
And they are working and also training. So that's also very nice to have that within the company. That's it. But I'm curious about your first question.
Yes, of course. It's quite a big department, 50 people, and so many things that you built in-house. So it's a very unique learning experience that you create for the learners.
Yeah, we are really a center of expertise. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's move to the conversation.
Yeah.
So before we deep dive into your first year with this company where you're working right now, tell us a bit about your way. How did you decide to work in learning and development, and how did you start this journey?
Yeah, so I started having a bachelor's in primary education, but soon I found out that I wanted to broaden my skills and not so much with kids anymore, because that's primary education. So I decided to do a pre-master and a master educational science at the University of Amsterdam. And within this master, you have you're obligated to do a master internship. And that's where I decided to do it in L&D with you. So I think that's the quick answer to that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. It's really your background always was connected with learning and development, and then you continued your personal development in this area, and now you're working on L&D. It's actually very interesting because in my case the situation was different. You probably know that I was a pharmacist, and then I worked in sales many years, and then I only got the second degree in L&D, or let's say business training, and then I moved to learning and development. So different ways exist, and there is no one way how to end up in L&D. So your journey is unique, mine also is different. And maybe
there are
someone
different ways to roam to get into L&D. There's not one path, no.
Okay, but I'm very happy to see that you got education and you started working in L&D.
Yeah.
So you used that knowledge that you gain and then turn them into practice.
Yeah.
Okay, if we look to the first year when you just started working in your full-time job, tell us what did surprise you the most. Of course, you had your expectations and understanding already about the role. You did internship, you also had other jobs in this area, but what did surprise you when you started like really serious job?
Yeah, well, I think that L&D is much more than a training department. It's more a strategic partner, and there is a return on investment, and that's it's difficult to calculate that. But I think, especially when a company goes into a difficult time, they cut on trainings, and I think then it's the best way to put learning and development in their spot, because you want to keep the talent in the company, and you also still want to retain people. But I think also just doing project management, stakeholder management. Those were also the things that I really learned within my first year. Those are things that you really don't learn at the university. Maybe in a smaller bit, but making plannings of years, that's not what you do at university. So, but I'm curious, what would your answer be?
Wow. Let me recall my first year in learning and development. I actually also was surprised, and I also realized that our job is not only about building trainings, because when I finished my education in business training, actually the whole education was around designing different programs, facilitating, and then measuring impact. But when I started working on L&D, I also was surprised that trainings were like, let's say, 20% of my job, and the rest of the time I was doing other things, and I was surprised, there's actually something like that is also possible. So what I thought about L&D before joining and doing this role and what it actually was different for me as well.
Yeah, well, nice to hear. We have a bit of the same experience, maybe.
Let's talk about some challenges. If you tell me that everything was perfect and very easy, and you managed to start using the knowledge that you gain in the university, I would question that. So tell us a bit what challenges you faced, and the most important, how did you overcome them?
Yeah. Well, I think, and I think that's for every time everyone that has the first job, that it's now a job. You have responsibilities. You're not an intern anymore, and this can be overwhelming. It was to me, to be honest. But I think that you, when you think you do the right thing, that is the right thing. So really, believe in yourself, and let others help you. I think that's maybe a bit of an easy answer, but I think really it's the best thing you can do.
So if I try to summarize or pick up the main idea, so it was the first time real job, and you felt the responsibilities. So that was one of the challenges.
Because I feel responsible for almost everything. Oof. So, and then when you have a first job, everybody's like, oh, your first job, and everybody makes it quite big. But I think on the one hand, you can say to people, it's my first job and I'm new. So that's a really nice excuse you can do. But to yourself, it can be overwhelming. But you only do the right thing, and what you think is right is the right thing. And you're allowed to make mistakes, right? Even now, after 5 years within L&D, I make mistakes. So you do the right thing that you think is right.
You are allowed to do mistakes not only after 5 years, but even after 15. It's part of the journey, by the way. Yeah, when you shared that you felt this weight of responsibilities, I also started feeling it on my shoulders. But very interesting, because when I started also working in L&D, and it was not my first job experience, I already was in different companies before, but it also was exciting for me and challenging. And my challenges were slightly different. I thought I was crazy about facilitating workshops, and I thought that L&D is only about facilitation, and I wanted to do it as much as possible. And I had to get to the idea that it's not only about facilitation or preparing to the training, but there is also other piece that I discovered. So that was a challenge for me. But then I also learned how to deal with that.
Nice to hear. I think it's, you didn't start with an L&D. I started with an L&D with my first job, but it's the same when just starting a first job. I think it's always a bit scary, right?
Yeah, but also exciting, because you don't know what to expect, and then a lot of great opportunities can come. Well, so another question that I prepared for you. When we look at 6 years ago, or like, let's say 5 years ago, how do you think, which type of skills helped you the most? And what skills, from your point of view, the most crucial for those who just start working in this area?
So I think it's mostly soft skills. So maybe coming back to the previous question, is that of course I did my master in educational science, but I think it's also mostly soft skills, because the skills that I learned at university weren't my top skills that I used in my first year in the within my job. So time management, being proactive, asking critical questions. Don't be afraid to bring a new perspective, because some people might be in the company for a long time and you think, oh, that's the right path, but there are different paths to Rome, which we already mentioned before. So I think it's more the small soft skills, and of course the educational background that I have is also important.
So the educational background gave you a kind of like strong foundation. That's why you felt that you understood the topic, and it gave you some confidence. And then the focus was on developing the soft skills.
That was, I think, the focus point in my first year. Dealing with a team, with a new supervisor, all the HR things that come with it, team buildings. I think, those are the things that you don't experience in the university. So,
And if we can create a list of top 3 soft skills, so what would be they?
Well, I would say maybe stakeholder management, overall project management, because that's in my team quite important, because we work in projects. So you could have 5 projects in one time, so 5 trainings, 5 e-learnings. I think project management, and there you have a lot of subs. So you have plannings, you have stakeholder management, but you also have making a storyboard, doing the designs, and those making storyboards, those are more skills that you really learn in university. What kind of activities would you put in a training? So I think it would be, on the one hand, project management with planning, stakeholder management, and then and budget also. That's what I didn't learn in university, because you could design everything you want. There was no budget, but it was also not developed. But then on the other hand, also using the skills that you learned in university to put the didactical skills into a training.
That's quite a broad list of different skills, and thank you that you pick up the most crucial that you identify during your first year. Very interesting. In my case, it was different, because all these soft skills that you mentioned, I already managed to develop in previous roles, like when I was in sales and also leading the team. And then when I stepped into L&D, I mostly focused on how to create engaging experience, because I knew how to design workshops, but how to make everyone participate in it. It was a different kind of experience.
Yeah, because it can look good on paper, but in real life, you know, and that's also the thing that within project management you do pilots. So you see if the trainer guide really does it work.
Before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you two questions that I ask all my guests. There will be two questions, but I will ask them together. You can decide how to tackle them. So the first one, what would you advise to someone who just started L&D? So today is May, so maybe someone's joining the first role 1st of June. So what advices you would give them? And my second question, what types of resources or educational content you would recommend?
Well, I think to the first question, I would say yes to everything. Of course, within your time span, you don't want to have a burnout in your first year, but say yes to everything. And also the things that you think, oh, I maybe it's not for me, maybe I don't like it, because you might be surprised. At least that's what I experienced. Say yes to everything and be curious and ask for feedback also. But also don't focus too much on your future, because I think within my generation this is quite common, that people are focused on, oh, this will be my next step, this will be my next step.
Oh, really?
I didn't have a clue what my next step in my airline company would be. I'm making a new step now, but that's after 5 years, and that's totally fine. You don't need to change role every year. Stay true to yourself, and you have to be happy with your work, and you have to work for a long time, at least here in the Netherlands you have to. So I think choose what makes you happy, and but also stay curious for other things.
Yeah, good advices. Thank you. I can't agree more with this saying yes to new experience, because when you say yes, you try things, and sometimes it's it's always about gaining new experience, but sometimes you really can find the true passion of your professional journey or even life, and sometimes you understand, okay, that's not for me, just. So it's good to say yes.
No is also an answer. So don't say yes always, but really no is also an answer.
And what about supportive educational resources or different programs that newcomers, new professionals, young professionals can get to gain experience and accelerate their development?
So in my first year, I really thought I had enough education, I read enough books in my master, in my pre-master. So I didn't read any books, I didn't listen to any podcast. I was really focusing on having the experience of my first job. But within the company, I experienced some nice programs the last year. So they had a mentoring track for 6 months. So I was mentored by a manager within the company or someone who was more experienced, which was a nice experience. And also I did an Activate Your Leadership program of 9 months. So I think those are the opportunities that you may want to look out for within the company, or that you maybe want to do yourself individually. But also, life changes. Now I'm becoming a mom for the second time, so I have less time. So all my spare time goes to the kids. So but then within the experience within the companies are really nice to do if they have them, of course. And I would say the same thing, say yes to those things. And you also meet new people then within your network, because that's also quite important. If you want to take the next step, you might need somebody to help you. So that would be my advice.
Thank you. It's actually very good that you mentioned that. Sometimes and quite often a lot of good educational programs are already available, especially in big companies or mid-sized companies. So instead of looking around, investigate what is on the table already available.
Because that's the learning and development, right? So I think it's good to see what's already there. and use the opportunities that you get.
Yeah. And I also like that you mentioned that you had this mentorship experience, not the first year, but later on. And to have someone who walks alongside with you is very powerful. In my case, when I stepped into L&D, I didn't have a mentor, and I didn't have a mentor for many years. But now I see how it's important to have someone, even from another area, but more senior, who can help you with navigation. Also, to see the blind spot that you might not notice. That's why also the reason why I started mentoring others.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I think it's always nice to have somebody that you can ask questions to, and that also can be in your private space. But just to have somebody that you can that can challenge you and ask critical questions and really to see what's your talent, what you want to do. But then always listen to yourself.
That's very important. If I try to put in actions or summarize things that can help in navigating the first year in learning and development, so I see, like, first, for instance, try to understand what is the role about and why it exists. Not only on paper, but what are the expectations from this role and from you in the organization. Second, learn by doing things. Like, for instance, in the company where I work now, we have this learning approach 70-20-10. That means that 70% of your learning experience comes from a job. It's not only about trainings, and participating in different projects or assignments or collaboration also allows you to develop skills, especially the soft skills that, for instance, you mentioned. And third one, say yes to new experience. Do not afraid to ask questions, experiment, make also mistakes, because this is how you gain real,
please make them.
real experience. Well, I hope that our conversation and the summary helps someone who is now maybe in the university or in internship, and they think how to start a L&D journey. And we gave you some ideas how you can influence your own development journey.
And if anybody ever have any questions to me, please give me a chat on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to help or to answer your questions.
I just wanted to say the same. So if anyone who listens this episode has questions to
we are up for mentoring.
Has questions to Lizana, please feel free to contact or add your questions in the comments after this video, because if you are watching it, it was already published and we can see all the questions. And with that, well, we're closing this episode, but I don't want to close. I want to continue.
But I want to say thank you for having me as a guest. It was my first podcast, so we also have a bit of paper, right, to sometimes look. So this was also a new learning experience for me, and I'm really I'm curious to see the results. I'll see it on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, very soon. Follow Spark L&D podcast on my YouTube channel, but also on LinkedIn, and stay tuned on new episodes. Thank you, Lizana, and thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.